Mounts in Guild Wars 2 are one of the game's crowning features. While the main purpose of mounts in MMOs is to enhance movement speed, Guild Wars 2 stands out with its focus on unique mount abilities. The mounts are designed to evolve how players interact with the environment, adding a layer of depth and strategy to gameplay that goes beyond basic movement. Each one fills a different niche and offers a unique way to initiate combat, making the transition from movement to action seamless and fun. There are currently 9 mounts in the game, with more steadily added or upgraded with each expansion. In order of release, these are the Raptor, Springer, Skimmer, Jackal, Griffin, Roller Beetle, Warclaw, Skyscale, and Siege Turtle. This video will provide a 60-second look into each mount, not only what they can do, but how players actually use them in-game. The Raptor is the first mount players encounter in Guild Wars 2, and it serves as an introduction to the game's mount system. It's known for its speed and useful long jump ability, improving players' quality of life for ground travel early on. Available to everyone after level 10, players can unlock the mount permanently by owning at least one expansion. Through the Path of Fire mastery track, players can bring their Raptor to its full potential, enhancing its tailspin and extending the long jump. The Raptor's ability to group enemies together right before combat is one of the most useful dismount skills across all mounts. This, in addition to its ease of access and fast ground speed, has many players choosing the Raptor as their default movement mount, especially early in their journey. The Springer specializes in vertical mobility. The longer players charge up, the higher the Springer will go. Although many players now prefer the Skyscale for enhanced jumping and cliff scaling, the Springer still has its uses. It has more fine-tuned handling than a Skyscale, making this mount useful for traversing cliffs, rocky areas, or other uneven terrains. It's available early on in 3 different expansions, giving players easy access to vertical movement. On dismount, the Springer does high break bar damage to enemies, though it's recently been surpassed by the Warclaw, which is capable of more CC. Nonetheless, the Springer remains the fastest option for gaining altitude quickly, allowing savvy players to spring into the air before hopping on a flying mount or gliding. The Skimmer is one of 2 mounts in Guild Wars 2 that can traverse water. Acquired through Path of Fire, it excels at fast water travel, and when fully trained can be mounted while surfaced or submerged underwater. The Skimmer moves slowly on land by default, though it does have a hover skill to help speed players through patches of land. Additionally, there are certain land hazards that can be safely navigated with the Skimmer, like quicksand or sulfurous haze. The Skimmer's dismount skill heals and partially revives allies, but compared to other mounts, it's not as favored as a combat opener. When it comes to water, the Skimmer's speed is unmatched, effectively replacing a player's need for swimming. Because of this, players will use the Skimmer anytime water travel is needed. The Jackal is a speedy land mount with the ability to blink forward, making it a great choice for quickly moving past enemies undetected. Its base speed, dash, and handling fits between the Raptor and Warclaw, making it an overall balanced mount for players. The Jackal is acquired through the Path of Fire expansion, which is also one of the only places it can use its main ability to warp through sand portals. On dismount, the Jackal provides barrier to allies, though this skill, and the Jackal in general, is rarely seen in the open world, as players typically prefer mounts like the Raptor, Warclaw, or Roller Beetle to catch up to ongoing fights. While the Jackal doesn't excel in any one specialty, it's still enjoyed as a well-rounded choice for ground travel. The Griffin is the most majestic mount in Guild Wars 2. While it does take some practice to learn the handling, its ability to dive from high altitudes allows players to traverse maps in seconds before dive-bombing enemies on dismount. With Janther Wild's masteries unlocked, the Griffin can reach its full potential, flying almost indefinitely. At the launch of Path of Fire, the developers intentionally kept the Griffin a secret, only leaving behind a few cryptic clues. The community was abuzz with rumors of a secret mount, and when videos of Griffin flight started surfacing, enthusiasm for the mount was at an all-time high. Acquiring the Griffin is often a long-term goal for newer players, as it requires POF story completion, a lengthy questline, and 250 gold. Though, players are happy to pay the price for the fastest and most fun aerial mount. The Roller Beetle can reach the highest velocity of any mount in Guild Wars 2. It speeds through terrain, even skimming over water if you're moving fast enough, before dashing through enemies on dismount. Originally introduced in Living World Season 4, the Roller Beetle is the land counterpart to the Griffin. Players mainly use the Roller Beetle to travel far distances quickly, or catch up to ongoing fights. The Roller Beetle is notoriously difficult to master, especially when trying to use advanced drifting techniques to maintain max speed. This leads to many players only using the mount in wide open spaces or otherwise simple terrain, leaving the fancy tricks and expert drifting to those up for the challenge. Originally made for World vs. World, the Warclaw is the only mount in Guild Wars 2 usable in competitive spaces. Until recently, none of its skills like lancing other players, weakening structures, and dealing extra damage to down players carried over to PvE. However, with the release of Janther Wilds, the Warclaw gained more movement speed and new skills to mirror its World vs. World counterpart. Players can now double jump through the air, use the chain pull and lance skills for superior CC, and mount while in combat. Additionally, the Warclaw is easy to unlock, requiring only one mastery point in World v World, or roughly 20 minutes of playing the Janther Wild story. All of this has quickly catapulted the Warclaw as one of the primary mounts players use in the open world. The Skyscale is renowned for its versatility in Guild Wars 2. This jack-of-all-trades mount can hover, fly short distances, scale up walls, shoot fireballs, and rain down fire on dismount. It can be acquired through the Secrets of Obscure story, or through a lengthy quest chain in Living World Season 4, though to fully upgrade this mount, players will need to complete mastery tracks from both. Despite being one of the slowest mounts, both in air and on land, its wide array of skills and dash ability easily moves players across every kind of terrain. The Skyscale is seen as an overall upgrade to a player's base movement, usurping the use of other mounts and making it one of the most sought after and frequently summoned mounts in the game. Acquired through the End of Dragons expansion, the Siege Turtle is the newest and only multi-person mount. Its movement on land starts out slow but ramps up speed over time. Underwater, it walks on the seafloor, but it's not very practical, so this feature is mainly used for sightseeing. With one rider, the Siege Turtle has a ground slam and can hover short distances, burning enemies below it with its engines. A passenger is required in order to use the cannons, shielding ability, and turbo boost. Despite having a large health pool, break bar, and being specifically designed for combat, The siege turtle's damage potential is low, especially with no passenger. Because of this, players mainly use the mount as an open-world taxi, carrying AFK friends to their next target, bringing characters to new areas, or helping players get unstuck if they accidentally clip into terrain. I hope you've enjoyed this overview. Let me know what your favorite mount is, and thank you for watching.